Hey, Nikkei.
Hear me? Oh. Hi, how are you?
I am good. I am hoping that I don't look like the Joker. You know, I was sitting here trying to put on some lipstick. I've been up since 4 o'clock this morning.
Always.
So it was one of those mornings. So it was like my hair ain't combed. I don't even know what the hell going on. Huh?
A good day?
It was an amazing day.
Awesome.
It was an amazing day. And we have an amazing co-host that we're going to have on today. And I'm so grateful for her because she is one of the few people who's championed me and championed my story. So anytime that I get a chance to give her flowers while she's here, I like to give her flowers because this woman does so much amazing work in the community.
I've been reading about her. She is amazing. I read a lot about how she, the work that she's doing to, for one, well, the first post I noticed, and first of all, I love the way she's so to the point. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. The first post I noticed was the one about the heat in the jails, and she said, if dog pounds have AC, then why doesn't these jails and prisons have AC? And I love it. I love her attitude. I love her commitment to the people that are currently in prison that are fighting for their freedom, the people that have been harshly sentenced, those who are aiming to get exonerated, her assistance with them getting legal counsel. There was so many people I saw on her page, so many stories that, are very heart-wrenching, but for her to step out and go out of her way to help hey, Bobby.
Girl, don't you call him Bobby? That's Robert.
Hi, Dr. Robert.
He's running for office again in Savannah, so we really have to call him Robert. He won't let me call him Dr. Bryant. That's me being facetious, sarcastic, all of those things. Just a butthole, but Robert.
And hi, Dion. We're really glad that you guys have joined this episode because, like Shantae said, we have an amazing lineup of speakers, amazing advocates who are out there on a daily basis fighting for people. I'm laughing at the comments, guys.
Yeah. And you asked me about my day. So I guess just briefly, I was able to meet with a couple of organizations that deal with human trafficking and mass incarceration reform and all of the jam and jelly that makes me smile. And, so in saying that, one of the people who is the jam and jelly that makes me smile. No, that don't sound right. I got to give her a better introduction than that. Well, one of the people who I think is wonderful and amazing and who does great work in the community, and it's definitely for the people. When I see a fist go up in the air, I know that somewhere in there are people who are saluting this woman, black, white, pink, purple, polka dot. Literally, she is the truth. Her organization is fair, fighting against institutionalized railroading, and that is who she is. That is who she is for everybody. So with that, I want to bring in Demita Bishop.
Hello. Thanks for joining us.
Let me stop touching buttons. I forgot we got an engineer tonight. Let me stop. Where's the engineer? There we go. Woo! Y'all know I'm a little controlling. Just work with me. Work with me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all today?
We're doing great.
Great.
Good. And I saw Dion comment. Dion's going to be one of the guests I'll bring on next week. He's out of Michigan. So, hey, Dion, I saw you watching, and this is the show you're going to be on next week with us. I had to split them up. Who's coming this week? Who's coming next week?
So many amazing people.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all don't get discouraged by that 3 eyeballs and that 1 heart. We have a few more than that. We actually have somebody who can produce some numbers for y'all. So there's people who actually like Nika and I, and then there's days where they don't. I had to get a co-host because I had to phone. You remember that episode where I was like, I need to phone a friend. My show is getting boring tonight. Let me call Demita Bishop.
Oh, I remember that.
One of the investors
caught me off guard.
Like, huh? I was like, this show boring. Let me call Demita Bishop.
Yeah, then y'all get me started. I'm like, okay, mute.
We had Tiana on last week, which is amazing. So I'm so excited to hear everything that you guys have to say. There's so many different aspects that you guys are fighting for, so many different causes, and we're very excited, like we said, to have you on and everybody else. So tell us about Freedom Fest or Fair. Well, how would you like to start?
Either one is fine. Well, like you already introduced FAIR, so we'll start there. So FAIR stands for Fighting Against Institutionalized Railroading. And it started with me and a man incarcerated in a prison in 2019. I started advocating by being nosy. Like people were posting on their, people that aren't supposed to have phones in jail were going on social media asking for help. They didn't say my name. I just jumped my nosy butt in there like, well, what do you need? And then they started teaching me the court system. So I learned, I first was being mentored by incarcerated people. They were telling me what laws to look up, where to go in the court, what each thing was going on in the courtroom. And then eventually it led to me meeting one of the guests, Seth Panalver, and he made sense for me. And from what he shared with me, I took off. And then I understood what FAIR was supposed to be about. FAIR was started by Mangwiro Siddiqui Israel to advocate before the conviction, and had Seth Panalver not come into my life, I wouldn't have fully understand why it was so important to stop convictions or to make sure that a person is fully aware of their rights before going to trial. So, and then eventually I met Shawanna Vaughn, and she added to that knowledge. Backing up, Tammie Capps, actually, let me back way up, was one of the first that I met. I'm sorry, Tammie. Tammie was one of the first that I met, and she had been advocating, working with like the Innocence Project, and doing some behind the scenes work with Sean King and other organizations. And she liked what she saw with FAIR. She joined in. We had a few other people come and go, but it's been us still standing strong with it. And then eventually I met everyone else, and they played a part. And then last year at this Shut 'em Down event, I met the young Tyara and Max Parthas, and got so much knowledge from them. So I'm so happy that they're blessing me with coming to Freedom Fest to share their knowledge. They all have their own organizations. They're total badasses. I love them, and thank you for having all of us.
Thank you. Let me do some housekeeping rules that I did not do before.
So, I forgot. I'm sorry.
Okay. That is okay. No, you can say ass. That's fine.
Okay. I'm sorry. I cuss, so y'all gotta.
I do too. My kids are no, just joking. Shawanna, you could talk about that trauma piece later about my kids, and if I tell sit your little I don't actually say it, but I think Nikki's like, she don't talk to her kids like that.
Don't, yeah.
But we can't say the F word, we can't say the N word, we can't say the tune word with a C. That word gets me in trouble because I be wanting to call some of these people cartoon characters, and I can't actually say that, but I can't say cartoon character because there's nothing wrong about that. And I can't say words like ninja because there's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles everywhere. And I can say words like that and it won't ban us or get us fined or get us kicked off for a week or two from Facebook or from YouTube when we use those words. We just can't use, any hard R's or capital C's. But that's the housekeeping. This is anything that you can't say on Facebook normally, you can't say here or we'll get banned or fined. So that's how it goes.
Well, this is a happy show today, so you don't have to worry about me cussing. Normally, if it's a case, I get in my emotions and I get the you're like, Demeter. So it's no case today, so I don't have to get angry, and it's all happiness.
Cool. So who are we gonna bring in first? Are we gonna have a big happy family?
Yeah, let's just bring the happy family. Let's just do that.
Let's just do it. Freedom Fest.
Hey y'all.
I don't want to touch anything because I don't want Tiffany mad at me. Tiffany, you want to bring everybody in? There we go. Ooh.
Hey Seth.
What's up?
Hi guys.
Oh, we got squad deep in here.
We DTR. Wait, okay, stop. Before we go, I forgot Shaka was on here. Shaka, the mouth, be nice today. Okay, that's it. I thought Tshaka is the only person worse than me. No, you're worse than me, Shantae. With the yeah.
Me? Never.
Yeah.
Girl, Michael Julian Bonds. So any of y'all who don't live in Atlanta, you know I was down there not last week, the week before. Public comment calling him a slave owner again. The late great Michael Julian Bonds' son is a cartoon character here in Atlanta, y'all. When it comes to prison reform. So just FYI, let me piss off some of these elected officials since it was just runoffs yesterday.
I hope y'all coming to Freedom Fest elected officials. I've been messaging y'all and ain't nobody answering me. And so, okay, when I take off, I'm not going to invite y'all nowhere no more.
But see, when you say stuff like this in public about them, then they start doing things like, no, not me. This is my personal cell phone number. So because he did that, I'll send you his personal cell phone number to meet a bishop.
That's right.
So guys, tell us about Freedom Fest generally.
So Freedom Fest is exactly what you see here. It's organizations from all over the country coming together to stand in solidarity for truth and justice. We're not coming together to point the fingers. We all know what's going on, but we can't move as one anymore. We have to move together. We have to work together if we want to see justice happen. So I reached out. I really believe Shawanna, I think you were the first person I even mentioned to. One day we was on the phone and I said, Shawanna, if I do this event, we wanted DC at first. I don't know if she remembers, but I was like, if we do it in DC, would you help me? And she said yes, but I couldn't get any assistance out of DC. And I met Tshaka after we already started organizing it in Atlanta. And had I met him, he would have been 10 toes down to give me whatever I need to get it in DC. But it's okay. We're doing Atlanta this year and it's going to move after that. So
feel free to talk, y'all. We all in here together. This to meet us Freedom Fest. This is what it's gonna look like.
So I'll start it. We'll start with Shawanna. Tell them all about yourself, Shawanna.
You're on mute, Shawanna.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Shawanna Vaughn, and I'm the director of Silent Cry. I run a grassroots organization. I do mass incarceration, foster care, and gun violence. Currently, I have one of the only mass incarceration mental health bills in the country called post-traumatic prison disorder. And I'm actually getting ready to meet with a federal legislator to make it a federal bill as well. So I am just, I'm so excited to be here. I'm so just honored that Demita is my friend because she's so dope.
Yeah.
And the fact that she was able to galvanize people from all over the country to come do one thing in solidarity, I think is amazing because we work in silos.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm so happy to be able to come to Atlanta and stand with all of you because I believe we're all better together.
That's right.
Absolutely. That was beautiful.
Let me tell you, if you think I go hard, you've never met Shawanna. Shawanna had surgery and got up the next day and was standing outside of prison fighting for it. And I was just like, if I got a headache, I lay down. Shawanna tied her own stitches up and got up and went outside the prison and was fighting for their rights. So I was like,
you never have a bad day because think about Shawanna Vaughn just having open heart surgery and kicking ass the next day.
The next day.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. That is amazing.
Yeah.
You know what's so dope? What I'm seeing is so dope. There's so much love. Like Demita, everyone loves you. And everyone came on here just smiling, ready to support, encourage, whatever we need to do for you, because everyone on here is like beaming.
I love all of these people. No matter what I ask them, I could say, can we stand outside and advocate for dog poop? And they're like, girl, we got you. We got you. Where you need us at.
Scoop, don't scoop. Scoop, don't poop. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, with our picket signs and our vests on.
Right. So we're going to go to Tammie now. Tammie, tell them all about yourself.
Well, hello. I am Tammie Capps, and hi, honey. I miss you. I can't wait to see you. I have been working with Demita with FAIR for about 2 years now. I originally came from wrongful conviction, and I've been associated with Proclaim Justice, Injustice Anywhere, Justice Not Politics, the Innocence Project, and At Risk Production. I have been fortunate enough to walk the same man out of prison twice. The first time that I walked him out, the state actually appealed the decision, and he was returned to prison. And it took 3 years to get him back out. So that's kind of a joke that I've walked him out of prison twice. He is exonerated now, so that's good. But I get to talk about excessive sentencing at Freedom Fest, and I'm really, really excited about that because I've always focused on wrongful convictions. So opening my mind to, to these laws and just how terrible they are and how rotten they are, and how racist they are, and how, when you're in wrongful convictions, you say that a person of color is 7 times more likely to be wrongfully convicted of a crime, but you don't think about how more likely they are to serve a harsher sentence than someone that is not a person of color. So it's been really, really awesome to be able to learn, just the differences with excessive sentencing and focus on something other than just wrongful conviction.
Yeah, so we're going to move on to Seth Panalver now. Seth, tell us all about yourself.
Hello, everybody. It's an honor to come on to this show. I really appreciate you. Really appreciate the work that you ladies do, especially with this show. Special thanks to Demita for inviting me to the show. I'm a Florida death row exoneree. Did almost 20 years on death row. Miramar Police Department framed me. Broward County Sheriff's Office and the State Attorney's Office had to do a majority of the work myself. Sometimes it amazes me what Demita says, that she learned a lot from me and gives me credit, but I'm just doing what God gave me the knowledge. I did not graduate high school or middle school, and I did all my learning while I was incarcerated. Read great, and I promised God a lot of things when I got out to share that knowledge. And Demita's one of them angels that came by, and you can't keep it to yourself. So I'm just on this grind. When God calls, I don't like to say Demita called. I like to say God called me, and I tell Demita, listen. She always says, what time's good for you? Whatever time's good for you, I tell her, let's rock it. And the lady that was on before, I think she's gone now, Shawanna, that was her name, Shawanna?
Yes.
I just want to bring up something that really caught my mind is, we're going to this fest, and, we could get on here and change a lot of hearts. And I remember when Hillary Clinton was running for president, and then the Black Lives Matter group came and rushed her at the office, and she said, listen, you guys could change a lot of hearts, but if you want to change some laws, come sit down with me. And a lot of people thought that was a racist remark. It wasn't. It was truth. And like Shawanna said, Shawanna's up there in the politicians' faces, because I could probably ask, how many of you voted here? Let me see some hands. How many voted this last time? Well, I got Tyra. I got Demita. How about you, Neek? Did you vote, Neek?
It's a long story.
Okay. No.
I did not. I will call myself out. I did not.
So
I rallied, but I ran for office last year.
See, it's kind of a trick question what I like to do with that, because we say that we're against all these certain laws and this and that, but we're actually voting for the person that's given out all this time. So we don't take the time to research when we do vote. I have a lot of people being in death row organizations, and I ask them all the time, hey, do you vote? Yeah. And do you know the politician you vote for? Is he for the death penalty or not? And they're like, So really what Shawanna said is listen, we could change so many hearts on these shows, but unless we're getting in the paint and getting in the politician's face, because say we come together with about 10,000 people and we show up at a politician's doorstep and say, hey, you can get these 10,000 votes, but what are you going to do? So I really appreciate what Shawnna does. It's just very few people get that. We could go in there, raise, excuse my language, hell, you know what I'm saying? But
you can say hell. You can say hell, Seth. Come on now, Seth.
I'm trying to be good here, but
come on now, we're gonna bring it down.
I want to leave some time for you guys. You guys got any questions? I'm with it. Again, I appreciate everybody for coming here, and I definitely look forward to meeting up with everybody in the ATL, because we're coming down from South Miami. Yo, what's up?
Yes.
We
So we're gonna
appreciate
we're
y'all, and
gonna
we're definitely gonna ask some questions after we introduce somebody. I mean, everybody.
okay, we're gonna move on to Mr. Washington D.C. Tshaka, one of my favorite people.
The general.
Yes. Can you hear?
He's on mute.
You're on mute. You have to unmute
Okay.
yourself.
Can you
There
hear
you
me
go.
now?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Okay. As always, giving honor to the Creator and all of our beloved ancestors, past, present, and future. And I usually don't do a lot of podcasts and shows and things of that nature because we basically are in the streets. I work in the worst project housing um, community in Washington D.C. And I've been working with juveniles and juvenile detention, juvenile corrections, and group homes, halfway houses for adults and our juveniles for the last 21 years. Um, Being a product of that myself, and um, I deal with people's energy. So when I met Demeter, um, by way of phone, it was just, I felt I had the same feeling that she had. That you cry out loud and you fight, and it appears that you're the last one standing. With everybody pushing you and um, with false support. You know, um, and so I understood that. So this is why I'm making this pilgrimage to Atlanta. To put everything to the side to do that. But the Street Law Soldiers is a group in Washington D.C. Um, we feed the homeless. I'm a substance abuse counselor as well as a life skill certified life skill instructor, and we go around and we deal with mental health. It's a serious mental health crisis in Washington D.C. From PCP and Third Mollies and X and K2 that has driven out babies to the point where you see 12-year-olds at 8 o'clock in the morning begging for change to get. They don't even realize they have heroin habits. But my fight is a little different. I stay in my lane. I know that Demeter and you all deal with the wrongfully convicted, over sentenced, under represented brothers and sisters across the nation, which I've been a victim of that. But my thing is, I deal with the gatekeepers that look like us, that are gargoyles, and they stand to block those who are the elitists that really call the shots, that are responsible and play major roles in our oppression, depression, regression, and our annihilation. We always say that us as a people are so violent and vicious, but I always tell people it doesn't matter what color you are. If you're placed in impoverished, deplorable conditions, you're gonna have crime. And it appears, especially in Washington D.C., that crime and poverty benefits the bourgeoisie, blacks, as well as the white leaders. And so they really don't want to get rid of crime. Uh, Prison is a business. It's an organized institution of high-tech slavery, um, mental destruction through incarceration. We've had 6 people die within the last 2 weeks in D.C. jail from heat exhaustion, massive heat strokes, stabbings, maggots in the food. I mean, it's a whole array of things that take place to our brothers and sisters that have been totally forgotten about. Because if you notice, in the 80s, we've been trained to disregard those who may have struggled with substance abuse and lack of education and lack of knowledge of self. And so, when that 94 crime bill was signed, which Joe Biden and a whole bunch of other people, Dr. Fauci included, who was responsible for the creation of AIDS. That wiped us completely out. And so they trained you sisters, in which I always give you all honors, because y'all have held the line while your brothers and sisters, your other halves, your children have had to undergo the gauntlet of the prison system. And so if it weren't for y'all, including myself, our brothers would not have a place of refuge. We would not have no support. We would not have no place to even lay our heads once released, once we're out of captivity, because most of the people are captured. Most of the people are captured, and and I've heard a lot of things from y'all. A lot of y'all not saying too much because I can feel what's going on in your hearts and in your spirits, and the determination that we need to be heard. Now, if this was a podcast to raffle off J. Cole tickets, we would have about 45,000 people trying to tune in. But since this is about right and wrong, because right appears to be wrong these days and wrong appears to be right, and you all have to commend yourselves. You all, each and every one of you, have something to bring to the table, and you also contributed to the world, whether you know it or not, whether you're acknowledged or not, whether you're recognized or not, or whether you appreciate it or not. So, it doesn't. It's nothing to do what I do to come and support people like Demeter, and hopefully I'll meet some of you all, if not all of you, and we can, put our images and egos to the side and allow ourselves to be led by someone who is seasoned and experienced into getting our brothers and sisters out of captivity. Once again, that's not my lane, but I will fight, with those who are fighting. So
Thank you.
I commend all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Before we move on to Tyara, let me say something. This girl is the most gangster person I ever met in my life, because at the the Georgia State Prison last year during the Shut 'em Down rally, she was down there by herself for hours before people finally started showing up with guns pointed on her, and she did not move. She continued on with the mission. And when I seen that, I was just like, that's my baby sister right there. So without further ado, Tyara Simone, and tell them all about yourself.
Hi, everyone. So I have an organization, Esther Luce. My organization originally was for transition and reentry. I did a lot of educational resources. So if someone was coming home, I would help with GED help, help them get their license, expungements. In the state of North Carolina, we did the Second Chance Alliance, and they did a lot of stuff. So I helped rally and advocate with them and help get the North Carolina Second Chance Act actually put in place here in North Carolina. So that's going good. Like she said, I did. First of all, let me go back. Woo! Happy Juneteenth, everyone, because I celebrate all month, just like I celebrate Black August all month. I hope you all celebrate.
That's right.
So happy Juneteenth to everyone here.
Thank you, and to you.
So yeah, that's that. Black August, I do a lot during Black August. I'm trying to bring back, I'll be talking about community togetherness at Freedom Fest. That's my whole thing. I've transitioned into the community world myself. I still help with incarcerated people. I have incarcerated library. I still advocate for my incarcerated people. I'm still in front of the prisons. I'm still in front of the jails every single day if I got to. But I'm really into the community now. I just started Abolition Meadows. Abolition Meadows will be a food program that will supply free food and nutrition programs for the communities like the hoods. I'm going to the hoods giving them free food, like not those little boxes that you see, the little like not trying to knock off Interfaith and all those other organizations but the whole grain bread and three little cans of corn, 3 little cans of beans for a mama of 5. That's not going to do nothing.
Right.
Right.
ghettos is put back into place so that we can get back into these Black and brown communities, these Latinx communities, these communities that were affected by ICE and the fathers was pulled out of the home and sent back to their countries or whatever the case may be. That's where my lane is now. Like I said, I'm still in front of the prisons. Like Demita said, Black August last year, I was in front of Georgia State Prison. I moved to Georgia last year because so I just got a call. One day, no lie to you guys, I got a call, and it was a man serving a life sentence in a Georgia prison, and he was just telling me his story, and he was just like, you know, if we had more people like you out here, I swear the prisons would be so much different. So then a week later, I get an email with the $1 million police facility that they're trying to build
Top
on
City.
Mm-hmm.
So I got that email. I'm like, this is something telling me that I need to come to Atlanta. I'm from North Carolina. I'm not born here. I was born in New Jersey, but I was raised here in North Carolina. I'm a North Carolina baby. If you go to my Facebook, you're gonna see everything about Zebulon. I'm a country girl. I'm a Zebulon, North Carolina baby. But I kept seeing stuff. Georgia this, Atlanta this. It was something after another. Then it was the USP Atlanta getting shut down. They were under investigation. It was something, one thing after another. And I said, man, this is calling. Something is telling me I need to go there. And I got there a week later. That man was granted. He was granted release. A week later, a week after me being there, he was granted release. I got all his papers. I said, send me your paperwork. Went there within the first week of me being there. I was there with his lawyer every single day. Because if you're not going to work for him, we're going to find somebody else that will. And I promise you, I'm going to find somebody else that want to get this man out of jail. Because guess what? It's people out here that's going to make sure that it happens. Especially if you were wrongfully convicted. It was so many holes in the justice system and just all over the world, not just in Atlanta, but that was that. I did my little service there. Georgia State Prison, like you said, was guns pointed on me. Like the sheriff, he pulled up on me at first and he was like, you're drawing a lot of attention to my little town, girl.
Good.
That's all I needed to hear. Cool. You want the attention? I'm gonna give you the attention. Got on Facebook Live. Within like an hour, I had people coming in. People calling me like, "Hey, I'm 2 hours away. I'm on my way. Hey, I'm 3 hours away." I had people come from Alabama. Like people were coming from all over. Once they were on top of the roofs of the prison, y'all, with guns, lasers on my chest, pointed at me like, you gotta go. I hear the incarcerated people banging on the cells. I have them calling my phone like, yo, Ty, they just put us on lockdown. They said that there's people outside. So yeah, it's me. I'm here. They were like, for real? I'm like, yeah. You wanna see how bad we can get? I'm here. I'm outside. At this time when I pulled up to Georgia State Prison, a week before that, there were COs that murdered a man in his cell. There was so much going on in the prisons in Georgia within that month of me being there. So I felt like that was an amazing experience for me to be there. If I was gonna die that day, I was prepared for it. I'm telling y'all, I was very, very prepared for it. Because I feel like if I'm gonna die for a cause, but y'all gonna have to kill me for me.
Facts. That's me.
Y'all gonna have to kill me for me to shut up. So that's me. I'm Ty. I go by Ty. I can't wait to meet everyone at Freedom Fest because I'm gonna be there. Bells, whistles, all that good stuff. I'm coming. I hope you guys are.
Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna be there, but
Spirit.
You'll be there.
Yeah, right.
I am for it.
You are just such a beautiful spirit. You guys are awesome. I'm so excited just to have. I'm excited about Freedom Fest, first of all, but definitely excited that you guys got on and joined us and are giving us all of this energy because every week me and Shantae get on here and it's just us going back and forth. So this is a good feeling just to have more people just you know what I mean? Just saying the same thing, just getting everybody riled up and saying, get out there, do something. And Tyara,
and everybody
don't talk about it, be about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody here.
I was gonna say, I'm so glad y'all are here. Nika, I'm glad you here. Demita, I'm glad you answered my phone calls because when I was on this show by myself, I was like, y'all, this is getting boring because this is it can't just be about what I think. And Nika has helped so much in preparing. Hold on. My 5-year-old said I don't get to talk. I have to help his iPad. So on that, I'm gonna let Nika show. Nika, do you want to show your presentation real quick, or is it
Well,
even
really,
necessary? We don't
yeah,
even.
it's really not necessary. I want to get deeper. I want to know like what everybody's going to be talking about. I want to know first of all, I want to know more about Shawanna's bill. If we can get a little bit more into that.
Please.
Absolutely.
Please.
So my legislation is brought on because I understand that nobody's going to create bills to relieve us from prison issues. Um, I went to prison at 17 and they told me here's Ritalin to go to bed, Advil to go to bed, and Ritalin to wake up. I was like, this can't be right. And they sent me to solitary confinement. I said, this can't be right. And when I got home, I realized that prison was the thing that traumatized me the most in my life. And I'm dysfunctional. And I tell everybody, I pretend as if. And I was like, wait, I pay for therapy. I pay rates I can't even afford. This is crazy. And I started talking to other people, and everybody was telling me they suffer from prison too. And I said, okay, well, I had the opportunity to go to Columbia, sit in my seat, and then meet a professor named Damon Phillips and this dope chick named Pamela Stewart Martinez. And I was like, listen, I got my prison diary. I want to learn how to write legislation. And they taught me. And I was like, okay, this is how this works. And I did surveys. I sent surveys into prison and I compiled them with my experiences and I came up with post-traumatic prison disorder. Because we do not have post-traumatic stress disorder. We will never get the benefits of the military. So my legislation is calling for 14 days into incarceration that you are assessed by a trauma-informed therapist. So I'm asking for vendored care that has nothing to do with docs because they couldn't medically treat an animal.
Exactly.
So I'm asking for vendor therapy. In my legislation here in New York, I'm asking for an oversight committee, which is stakeholders, formerly incarcerated people, pastors, clinicians, doctors, everybody. Um, because every prison should get a grade, right, on mental health. And if you fail, that means people should not be in your care or your custody. I'm asking for alternatives to to pharmaceutical drugs because I'm clear that the biggest drug dealer is Pfizer and Merck in prison. I'm asking for marijuana post incarceration to treat post traumatic prison disorder because you give it to people coming out of the military. I've had cancer twice. They gave me marijuana. I said, oh, okay. I can have marijuana because I have cancer, but I can't have marijuana because I went to prison and I'm mentally messed up. Got it. And I said, the only way we're going to get reparations for these football numbers that they gave us for marijuana is to ask for it back in legislation. So I did. I'm asking that guards be mandated to therapy because they are harmful. The data shows that correctional officers and police officers have the highest domestic violence. And nobody watches or monitors or their behavior. And so they have to be mandated to therapy.
Yeah, that's great.
And I'm also asking for cameras. I'm asking for cameras. Um,
Being happy,
which
child. Being happy.
I want guards to wear cameras. So they can't take me in the corner and beat you and sexually assault you and nobody knows what happened. Because for people, I live in New York. A man just died and they just killed a man in Rikers because everybody dies. No, you're murdering people.
Yeah.
I went to Chowchilla, California prison where people were having hysterectomies and people are being raped, and that's not a conversation because if you can't see it, it didn't happen. Well, if you have a camera on, if your camera comes off, you shouldn't have a job.
Yeah.
You're going to lose
Preach,
your job
preach.
because
Come
I
on,
believe that
sister.
nobody should have autonomy. And I heard the gentleman talk about the 1994 crime bill. Well, I'm about to hook you up with Terrence Coffey, Michelle Alexander, and the Black Law Bar Association here in New York. They are repealing the 1994 crime bill here in New York. They've started with the Bar Association, Michelle Alexander, and some other people. And I thought you could just take it all at once. You cannot. They have to dissect it, and they're taking it piece by piece to repeal it. And so that's one of the movements that we're doing here in New York. And I know it's people from all over the country that are helping with it.
Yeah.
And I definitely want to hook you up with them. And that's what my legislation looks like. That's what my first piece of legislation looks like. I just finished a juvenile piece to post-traumatic prison disorder. And yeah.
God's word.
Well, what I understand is
New York, if y'all don't vote her for assembly, y'all crazy.
I'm actually running for office.
All in the community.
I'm there, Shawanna, if you need me.
Yeah, I'm actually running for office. I'm running for New York State Assembly.
Let me tell you, if these are the type of people you vote for.
When you're ready to go canvassing, I'm ready.
Right.
Oh, listen, let me tell you something. Cannabis has to listen. So, and that's the thing. There has to be equity in cannabis for formerly incarcerated people.
Just to comment a little bit about cannabis. I'm here in Florida, and what I actually do is medical cannabis down here. So we got all type of convicted felons and people on probation. I have an office. I've had it for 6 years, so we license people. But yeah, I'm a strong believer in cannabis. I've seen people healed where doctors say it was over. They send it to us. We've not been successful 100%, but a good amount. I just want to comment on something Tshaka was saying, and Tyra. I'm a 4-time convicted felon -1 for the last one, right? Went to prison first time I was about 15, 16, waved over to the adult system. And one thing Tshaka was saying that he goes in and out the jails and talk to some people. Also Tyra was saying, when you get released, I'm a strong believer is, I'm Hispanic, right? And I'm a strong believer that we gotta get to them before they even get to that spot, because it's easy to get. It's hard as hell to get out. And just commenting on what Tyra said, like I remember plenty of times I got out before they had me $100 and some clothes from Walmart. You know what I'm saying? And it's like what am I going to do with this? And then a lot of people get out. They got kids. They they got this to do, that to do. First thing they'll do is go pick up that gun, or they're gonna pick up the drugs and do this, do that. So I think that's a very beautiful thing, Tyra. Wherever God leads you, I just hope maybe one day He'll lead you back there, because there definitely needs to be that, because there's so many people getting out and they have nowhere to go. You give me $100 and I got a family feed. I'm picking up that pistol. I'm picking up the drugs, and I'm going to get some money.
You get bus pass and they say good luck.
Man, I remember they gave me a bus pass. I stopped off in Tallahassee, got off the bus, and got me a bag of weed.
Carolina, they give you Amtrak. They give you an Amtrak card, and they say they give you one destination. You can pick anywhere you want to go, but that's how they mess you up. They tell you can go anywhere you want to go, right? But you got to be back to report to your probation officer by Monday. So if you go to Florida, you go wherever with that one train ticket with $5 in your pocket, you back in prison by the next week.
Yeah, but
in Georgia,
you have no job. All you have is those prison clothes, those gray sweatpants that they send you home with,
and those flip flops, and those sneakers with no shoestrings,
and we're trying to
blue stripe on the side.
We're trying to put something here down in Florida to get programs going while you in there, because you can't just say go. Once you release, it's like, okay, let's start before. Let's get you a trade while you're in there.
Florida has to first get rid of its 3 strikes law. We got to work on that 3 strikes law, because
that's California.
That's Tyra. If you're want to get back into the re-entry game, that's definitely Shantae would tell you that's definitely what I am getting into. I'm very fresh. I have a few loved ones who are in the Georgia criminal justice system, and we've been affected in so many different ways. And my main goal is to help people because people come home and they don't know, like you said, like Shawanna said, they're traumatized. Sometimes they don't even realize it, and they're trying to function with people who don't understand where they're coming from. And a lot of times there's so much miscommunication going on, and we're trying to bond with our loved ones, and it's
It's
just
hard to hear you. Someone's mic's real loud.
Yeah,
Someone's mic's real loud. Maybe they muted. All right, go ahead.
Yeah,
It
but
was
I
me.
was just saying, I that's the avenue that I'm taking. That's where I'm going into. Like I said, I'm very fresh with my organization. It's called Love Lockdown, and I want to be able to provide those resources. I want to be able to, like you said, help them get jobs and licensing and housing, and help them get therapy and acknowledge their mental illness and all of that stuff. And
so can I cut you off for 1 second and then finish? What y'all doing on here? That's Freedom Fest. That's what's about to go down in Freedom Fest. Everybody come together, network, work together. So finish. I just wanted to just say this is what Freedom Fest looks like right here.
But yeah, so we'll talk more. I don't want to make it about me, but I just love it. And like I said, I want to work with all of y'all in the future in some way or another, because I can see that we all have the same heart.
I'm going to
Just to comment on one thing Tshaka was saying too, how he works with the juveniles. I used to do that. I kind of slacked off. I know that's not what God wants me to do. He really wants me to get back into it, but that is a big part, is reaching them juveniles, because I can remember as a juvenile, I'm old, I'm 50 years old. I can remember NWA, right? And we all follow somebody at some time. Like in South Florida, we wasn't walking around with choppers, what they call them, AK-47, so we heard NWA. So music is a big influence. And the stuff Shaka's dealing with, talking to them juveniles, because when I was on death row, they kicked all juveniles off death row because they say the mind capacity, the frontal lobe of the brain wasn't fully developed. So therefore, the decisions that they made the brain wasn't grown enough. So we definitely need people like Shaka to be able to get to them kids, to talk to them, say, hey, it's a better way. Like, you don't gotta sell them drugs, you ain't gotta take that pistol, you ain't gotta be gang banging, like all that stuff. So that's a real beautiful part that I think he's doing, and I think we have to touch them, because the youth is the future. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And for him to
Let me piggyback on that, because Shaka is really modest. You know, I'm not saying people have to work for free. I know we all need funding, but when you get people like Shaka and all of you on here who get little to no funding, and you are in that community, Shaka works. Y'all think I'm the shit doing Uber, paying for everything. Well, try this man right here working 2 jobs, taking care of his family, and then whatever he has left, he's in the community making sure his community has book bags, has food. So that, you know, when people, there's so many amazing people I've met in the last 3 years, and as many of them, some of them can come to Freedom Fest, some of them, you know, they're not going to be able to do it, but I'm going to give them a shout out anyway, because they doing some dope stuff. So, and all of you are, but I just had to throw that out there. Like, he's not going to tell you everything, but Shaka be out there by himself sometimes. He got his street law soldiers, they be out there. Like, when I say feeding the homeless, I'm not talking about noodles with ketchup on it. I'm talking about meals, and then making sure when they go home they got everything that they need. And but so, you know, my hat's out to, like, when he's out there, if you follow his page, it's like at least once a week he's out there, and you can see he's tired because he just worked all day, and then
I
I'm
he
need that
good
answers.
though.
link.
I need
I
to
need a link to
bend.
his
I'm
page.
okay.
Demeter, I need you
I'm
to send me
okay.
the link to his page and
I need
everybody's page.
everybody's page because
Well,
I need everybody's page, Demeter.
and
Right,
listen,
right.
I was gonna say, is Shawanna back in? Because I wanted to. Tiffany J is joining us. I was gonna say, with Shawanna here in Georgia, Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network provides a program called Forensics, where you can get certified to go into the jails, prisons, and institutions as an advocate. And Georgia Mental Health Consumer Network, they partner with 1 or 2 other organizations, but they're about the largest one here in Georgia. So maybe modeling something like that in New York. And when she talks about trauma, they do a trauma certification. Forensics, you have to have been previously incarcerated to even qualify to be in that program. So it's like peer mentorship. And I can only say that because I had that certification. But out of all of them, that trauma piece was the most life-changing, life-altering one, period. So I'm glad that she is standing on that one, because we need more trauma-informed care throughout our system.
Shantae, Shawanna is the one I told you this morning I needed y'all two to meet. So I don't know if you remember our conversation.
Demeter, you know how that goes. It's always like, I got someone for you to meet, Demeter. Shantae, I got someone for you to meet. So yeah, whoever you want me to meet, whatever collaborations,
Yeah,
I'm with it. You hear
So
Gregory?
it's like, let's see, you connect the dots with everybody, pick who you need to work with.
Now, when the sister spoke on trauma, we sometimes we forget that the entire family is traumatized behind someone being incarcerated. And when she talked about the correctional officers, now there are more correctional officers that sexually assault men just as much as they do the women. A lot of correctional officers are heavy substance abusers, just like a lot of cops are. And so with that type of mentality, that type of behavior, and then you're getting the okay to cannibalize and savagely um, mess our brothers and sisters up, because all their calls come from upstairs. You
Yeah.
know, they get the green light to do whatever, and so and then a lot of people talk about just the people incarcerated, but what about the people that go visit? Because I've heard correctional officers, uh, uh, they fight to do the visits on weekends so they can feel all on people's mothers and children and their sisters and stuff. I mean, this is how savage this system is, and people don't talk about when you do all of that, you watch your grandmother get felt on, talking about they looking for weapons and all this type of stuff, and your little children get felt on, your wife gets farmed. This is every week or every other week. And then when you go back to your cell to get back, you got to get strip searched. This is why I say, a lot of these brothers try to play so tough, but when them correctional officers strip you down and tell you spread them and lift your, all that up and lift your feet up,
They
they
tell you
don't
to
have no
cough.
weapons or nothing. That's sexual. That's visual. That's visual sexual assault. That's on a visual level. They may not be able to actually put their hands on you when you're stripped down like that. And then the way that they have people on these metal benches, men naked, facing each other, almost the testicles too, just lined up. This stuff is systematically designed to annihilate not only the individual, but the entire family. And see, a lot of brothers, they don't come in the visiting room. They act like it's okay because that's the strength that a lot of men have, and the women. But women catch hell on those prisons.
Yeah.
Even in DC jail, they were using rinsing sanitary napkins out and using them again, and uh, all types of paper towels. So many infections because people see DC, they see the monument, the Capitol, the White House. But if you go 2 miles from there, because you got people that sleep in front of the White House. So if you go 2 miles from there, 3 blocks from the World Bank, you'll see the most deplorable conditions that you'll ever want to see.
Wow.
That you'll ever want to see. So, and what the brother was saying when he was on death row, I know he may talk about it cordially now, but if you think about it, you never knew what went through somebody's mind when they've been condemned to never return again. Because I've watched animals like cows going in the slaughterhouse, and then while they're in line about to be slaughtered, they catch these enormous tumors while they're in line. So I know what the human mind will probably endure being in those type of situations. Like I said, I did 13 years of, these correctional officers, the hillbillies, they broke my legs, put me on lockup, put me on the top bunk with cash all the way up to my waist. I stayed in the hole for 5 months with just a hole in the floor to use the bathroom. You get 3 sheets of toilet paper, 9 ice cubes a day, and you don't even get food. They got something now called nutritional loaf up here, where it's just old vegetables that are rotten and spoiled. They mash them up, turn it into like a little loaf, which you can't really digest. And it's just enough for you to survive.
I done ate plenty of them
So,
on psych wards. Wow.
yeah.
And I just want to say this to you, Tshaka. We have like 3 minutes, so I'm gonna wrap it up with this. You encourage me just in everything, your whole overall being. I have an uncle who sits in a very high place in DC, very high place, who can impact this conversation. I'm gonna share this to his page. And I say it like that because I don't always talk to all of my family members, but he sits in a very high place, and he's one of those people that you're talking about, and we're gonna hold him to account, and that's my blood. And I get it because I remember being pregnant with triplets when they told me to spread them and cough in jail, not prison. So it's so degrading. It's very degrading. And thank you for speaking out on that piece as a man, and you are still a man, and Seth, and you know, because I know that's what they want. They want to take your manhood and they want to take y'all from us. And thank y'all for standing firm in who you are and remembering who you are. And none of this makes you other than who you are.
Thank y'all for y'all being y'all and being there for
I
me.
look forward to seeing every one of you there. I look forward to seeing
Hold on, y'all. Hold on. When's Freedom Fest, y'all? When's Freedom Fest? July 7th. Where's Freedom Fest at? Where's it at?
It's in the
I'll see y'all
It's in
next
the
Thursday.
It's in the
Freedom Fest. The Meet Official closes out.
Y'all will be in Atlanta on the 30th, and I have a couple of places to speak at prior to the Freedom Fest. But you know, I always tell Demeter, it's always a success. You know, just the gathering of people, whether it's 1 or 1 million, it's still a success. And this is documented history. This is documented history. This will go down. This video will never die. These events will never die.
Hey, Tshaka, I'm gonna be up there on the 30th too, man. Let's meet up, man. I want to come to some of your events in Atlanta, man.
Y'all,
okay.
I'm gonna come
too.
too.
Ankle that move a little bit. We can go to Magic City. No, I'm playing. We ain't going to no
Yeah,
Magic
So first of all, to all of you, Tammie, I know you're gonna block me one day because I wake up every morning at 7 o'clock. Tammie, I have this idea. She's like, okay, Demeter, whatever you want. But thank you guys for being y'all. Shantae, thank you. When Shantae only knew me a day and she hooked up Stop the Violence for me with all those politicians, knew me one day and we've been like this ever since. Shawanna knew me one day, and this is what Freedom Fest is. You guys have your own situations, your own organizations. You don't have to look out for me. I don't have to look out for y'all, and on down the line. But every last one of y'all, Tyara, Tshaka, Seth, thank you guys for what you do for me to help me grow. Thank y'all for coming to Freedom Fest. Tammie, all of you, thank you. This is what community looks like, and let's show the world what we need to be doing to help these people behind the wall and who are entering back into society. Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Freedom Fest 2022.
Love y'all.
Tiffany. Love y'all. See y'all.
I love y'all.
Love y'all. See y'all.
like this.